Welcome, Central Indiana sports fans, to my new podcast, Greg and His Friends Talk Sports. I'm your host, Greg Mengel, and every weekday afternoon here on the Central Indiana Sports Report, my friends and I are talking about whatever Central Indiana sports fans are talking about. Coming up today, Thursday, April 16, 2026, we have so much good stuff. First, our 10-minute recap of Wednesday, including IU's continued portal success. And following the recap, we'll have a conversation with our IU guy, Grant Shouse. Anderson's Jalen Haralson announces his new home. And the Fever continue to add to their roster, plus local high school and college results, and local and national news and notes. Before we get to all of that, I want to let you know what's going on at the Central Indiana Sports Report. I released an IndyCar report earlier this morning with Elijah Poe previewing the Long Beach Grand Prix. Earlier this week, we had a Purdue report with Jake Dunn talking some football and basketball. Released that on Wednesday morning. Also planning a special IU report on Tuesday, talking about Coach DeVries' success in the transfer portal. Also in the next few days, our weekly debate and prediction podcast, Greg versus Will versus the World, on Friday morning. And I'm planning on a Colts report for Saturday. And our weekly Fever report is Sunday, the same day as training camp opens. And I'm not sure about a Pacers report yet for this week. That's normally on Mondays. But either way, we'll have lots of NBA playoff talk on this show and the Central Indiana Sports Report Network throughout the summer. Thank you so much for joining us. Your 10-minute sports update, tailored specifically for Central Indiana sports fans, begins now. Followed by Grant Shouse with an IU portal update, then Rob Hunt of the Herald-Bulletin talking some Madison County softball with a big Alexandria Lapel showdown later today. Awesome. Darian Devries and the Indiana Hoosiers have landed two more players out of the transfer portal, including coveted big man Aiden Sherrill, who averaged 11 points and 6 rebounds last year at Alabama. And they added guard Bryce Lindsey. Bloomington will be his fourth stop after spending time at Texas A&M, James Madison, and Villanova. Both of them have 2 years of eligibility remaining. IU now has the top-ranked portal class in the country, according to On3 Sports. The Hoosiers also had the number 1 portal class in the country in football. We'll talk more about that with Grant Shouse coming up after the daily report. 24/7 Sports is reporting that former Hoosier Josh Harris is committed to Florida Atlantic, and Colin McMahon of On3 Sports is reporting that former Hoosier Tayton Connerway is seeking a 5th year of eligibility and is entering the transfer portal. Also in the transfer portal, Anderson native Jalen Haralson has chosen Tennessee as his next basketball destination after averaging 16.2 points as a freshman last year at Notre Dame. Ball State's new head coach Chris Kapko has landed a couple of prized players. First, in the transfer portal, he landed former Purdue preferred walk-on Aaron Fine, and he also got his first high school recruit, Cam McGilvery from Dallas, a 3-star combo guard. Nice start for Kapko. The 2026 Indiana All-Stars have been named. We already knew Mr. Basketball Luke Ertl from Mount Vernon would be part of the team. He'll be joined by Noblesville's Barron Walker, Carmel's Evan Harrell, Fisher's Kai McGrew, Lawrence North's Brendan Miller, Jashawn Ladd and Cameron Webster of Ben Davis, Crown Point's Dikembe Shaw, Plainfield's Noah Smith, Charlestown's Anthony Fresh, South Bend St. Joe's Nick Shrewsbury, the son of Notre Dame head coach Micah Shrewsbury, and Northridge's Brady Scholl. Tony East of Forbes and Circle City Spin is reporting that the Fever have signed former NBA Shatori walker-kimbrough, a former 6th overall pick by the Mystics, and former Fever guard Odyssey Sims has signed with the Dallas Wings. More on that on the Fever Report on Sunday. On Friday, the Hornets will play the Magic in Orlando, and the Warriors will play the Clippers in Los Angeles for the final NBA playoff spots. After the 76ers beat the Magic 109-97 and the Warriors beat the Clippers 126-121 behind 35 points from Steph Curry on Wednesday night in the NBA play-in. The Charlotte-Orlando winner will be the 8th seed in the East and will face the top seed Pistons Sunday at 6:30. And the Warriors-Sun winner will get the reigning NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder Sunday at 3:30. I'll have a full NBA playoff schedule for you on tomorrow's show. Every team in the NL Central won on Wednesday, and now all 5 are sitting at 500 or better. Sal Stewart homered twice and drove in 6 runs in the Reds' 8-3 win over the Giants. Reds will try to complete a sweep today at 12:40. They are currently tied in first place with the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are at 11-7 after a 2-0 win over Washington. Pirates may be legit. That pitching, man. The Cardinals are a game back after a 5-3 win over Cleveland, and the Brewers are a game and a half back after beating the Blue Jays 2-1. And the Cubs have taken the first two in Philly after Wednesday's 11-2 win. They're 2 games back and have Thursday off. Every team in the AL is between 6 and 11 wins. The Dodgers are 14-4 with the best record in baseball, followed by the 12-6 Padres and the 12-7 Braves. The division leaders in the American League are the Rays, Twins, and A's, which is weird. Louisville scored 3 times in the bottom of the 10th to beat IU 8-7 Wednesday in college softball. Allie Van Brandt went 3 for 5 and scored 3 times for the 32-11 Hoosiers, who go to Iowa City for 3 this weekend. Some local news and notes. Bethel has hired Davis Osborne as their next men's basketball head coach. Osborne went 17-13 in his 1 year as a head coach last year at Trinity Christian after spending 6 years as an Indiana Wesleyan assistant. And former Marion star Rashaya Kyle has signed a training camp contract with the Minnesota Lynx. Some high school baseball results from Wednesday. Alexandria is 8-2 after beating University 4-1. Will Rowland and Grayson Gaines gave up just 1 run on 5 combined hits. 2A number 6 Wapahani beat Frankton 5-4. The Eagles are now 0-3. Mason Jones had 2 of their 3 hits. Oak Hill beat Cass 9-1. Aiden Pierce was 2 for 3 and threw 5 strong innings on the hill. Logansport beat Tipton 13-3. And 3A number 8 Western beat Hamilton Heights 9-2. Levi Shoemaker was 3 for 4 with a double home run and 4 RBIs for the Class 3A number 5 Panthers, who are now 7-0 overall and 4-0 in the Hoosier Conference. In softball, Frankton beat Taylor 22-0 to improve to 4-2. Haley Salisbury had a double, scored 3 times, and drove in 4 runs. 3A number 13 Mississinawa beat Peru 21-3. Charlie Ballage 4 for 5 with 3 doubles, 3 runs, and 4 RBIs. And in a battle of unbeatens, 3A number 4 Yorktown handed Elwood its first loss of the year, 12-2. Kelsey Arms hit her 4th home run of the season for the Panthers. Lapel is 3-1 after beating rival Pendleton Heights 15-13. The Bulldogs scored 11 times in the second. Junior Ella Reed was 4 for 4 with 2 runs and 2 RBIs. And Tipton lost to Logansport 23-0. Lucy George tossed a 4-hit shutout, and 4A number 8 Western beat Tipton 8-0. And Logansport won the Rochester Invitational in boys golf. Here's what's coming up today, Thursday, April 16, 2026. It is a very light schedule, except for some high school sports. Some baseball Some baseball matchups of note Thursday. 3-2 Cathedrals at 4-3 Lapel. 1-5 Tipton visits 4-1 Eastern. And in the CIC, 5-1 Oak Hills at 4-0 Northwestern, and what should be a good one. 6-1 Eastbrook hosts 3-1 Northfield, should also be a good one. 3-3 Elwood hosts winless Burris, looking for their 4th straight win after an 0-3 start. 7-0 Western is at Mechanic-Wall. 1-7 Blackford hosts 2-6 Muncie Central. And Frankton looks for its first win of the year at Taylor. In softball, unbeaten Class 2A number 2 Alexandria hosts 3-1 and 4th-ranked Lapel in what should be a great game on Thursday evening. Please stick around after Grant Shouse's IU basketball update for a preview of the Tigers and Bulldogs with the Herald-Bulletin's Rob Hunt. Also on Wednesday, 6-0 Yorktown goes to 4-2 Frankton. Tipton County rivals Tipton and Tri-Central meet at 5. The Blue Devils are 3-4, the Trojans 2-2. 5-1 Hamilton Heights is at 0-2 Sheridan, and Blackford looks for its first win of the year at Eastern. Please stay tuned for Grant Shouse for an IU basketball update. I got a text from Grant last night that just said, "This is huge." Grant.
I think the fact that Indiana is really making some moves in the transfer portal right now. This is, I think, one of the biggest portal overhauls we've seen from Indiana basketball in some time. Pick up Aiden Sherrill from Alabama, who a lot of people saw that coming, and I think a lot of people expected that to, for him to come to Indiana. He canceled a visit with Michigan State. And out of nowhere last night, Bryce Lindsey, who was one of Villanova's leading scorers this past season, averaged 12 a game, shot almost 40% from 3. he decides he's coming to Indiana as well. So there are so many things happening with Indiana basketball right now. And, it kind of took a week to get going into the transfer portal to really start landing guys. And Darian Devries and Ryan Carr are really off to a good start right now. And, there's already high expectations for them next season because they're kind of going the opposite direction that they did last year in the portal, which was basically create a mid-major all-star team. Well, that didn't work out for them. You want guys that have played in established programs at the Power 5 level, and I think hopefully it can work out.
Yeah, big deal for Darian DeVries and IU basketball fans' confidence of him, but also big for Ryan Carr making an impact immediately.
Well, that's why you go and hire a GM. Like with this day and age in college basketball, you have to be able to find guys that know how to manage the money and know how to recruit guys. People are now calling Indiana University the unlimited money printing factory. And that's kind of what it's been like. They're just throwing millions of dollars at guys to hopefully come out. We mentioned Aiden Sherrill and Bryce Lindsey, but you factor in like Semet Yigatolu from SMU, 7'2s coming over. And then you also have Jaden Mustaf from Georgia Tech. We talked about in the IU report, and Marcus Burton as well coming in from Notre Dame. Also, you have Darren Harris coming over from Duke as well, and a lot of guys. And then the freshmen you have coming in, Von Carvalho, who will be a true freshman for him, and then Prince Moody Alexander, who is a top 100 recruit that'll be a true freshman next year. And then you return Trent Sisley as well. So there are so many big roster spots being filled. I really think this is going to be an Indiana team with some expectations coming in. I felt like that last year with a new coach and a new roster, but this just feels different because it's guys that, have played at the Power 5 and, may not have been the best players on their respective teams, outside of maybe Burton and Lindsey, coming over from Villanova and Notre Dame, but get them in the right system with D-Rock and all them guys, and I like where they're going.
Well, Grant, do you like it enough to talk about it a little more tonight for a special IU report?
I would love to, and Mike is actually the one that's kind of been keeping me in the loop about it. He sent me a majority of them. I wasn't shocked about the Sherrill commitment because we kind of saw that coming since about Monday or Tuesday. It's only a matter of time of when he was going to commit, and now he's fully in there. And so, yeah, I'm excited and hitting the ground running, and we're going to have a lot to talk about on the IU report, and we're going to talk about that tonight. And then next week we'll have like the pre-spring game preview for Indiana football, and where some of those guys that played on last year's IU football team are going to be ready to go in the NFL draft. So I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of things to talk about here coming up.
Please stay tuned for Rob Hunt of the Herald-Bulletin. Joined now by Rob Hunt of the Herald-Bulletin. And Rob, lots of good softball around Madison County this year, and a big one tonight. Alexandria Lapel might be the two best teams around.
Certainly, according to the rankings, they are. According to recent history, they are. And when you look at the returning talent on both rosters, kind of makes it a clean sweep. They're definitely battling for local supremacy, certainly in this area.
As good as the offenses are, probably run's going to be tough to come by tonight.
I would think so. I think certainly when you got Brindley Humphreys there as a pitcher for Alexandria, that certainly gives them an edge in almost any match they're going to be in. And I think that certainly holds true here. Well, the Falcons certainly pitched well as well. They've got a deep pitching staff as well. Kind of had a rough night last night at Pendleton, but right. That's to be expected when you're playing Pendleton. Welcome back from spring break, right? Their first two games out of the gate at Pendleton and at Alexandria. They absolutely outslugged Pendleton last night. So they're both teams bring a lot of offense to the table. It'd be interesting to see how it goes. And UPel coming off a hard-fought, emotional win last night. We'll see if there's any kind of a letdown tonight as well.
This Alexandria team, probably Lapel too, and you could probably throw a couple other local teams in there as well, have a lot of aspirations this year.
we already mentioned three of them, but certainly Frankton is off to a pretty solid start. They lost to Lapel, but it was an 11 inning. It was nothing after 10. Lapel won it in the 11th inning, so certainly a lot of talent there. Looks like Madison Graham may have taken a step back this year from where they've been, kind of in a rebuilding phase. But look at Elmwood, 5-0 for the first time in 10 years. They did drop their first one last night, but that was against the 3A top 5 team. So, which it looked like, and I don't have any further details on this, but it looked like they kind of got bum rushed there in that first inning or so, and then kind of settled in and played them even. Just kind of got behind the 8 ball there. But that's a team that they can hit the ball. If you see an Elmwood play, they can hit the ball, and it's not just Kelsey Arms, who's one of the best bats around anywhere. They can scrub it down the lineup. So yeah, there's a lot of good softball in the area. Not necessarily in Madison County, but Shenandoah, they don't have the dominant pitching that they had last year, but they can hit the ball up and down the lineup as well. They dropped the slugfest to penalty nights too. That's one thing that's been consistent in this area is the softball.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The baseball's been pretty good as well, especially Alexandria off to a nice start. We'll talk about that another day. What else are you working on after today, Rob?
Yeah, it's traditionally Madison County week. As you can tell by the way, the weather has been somewhat mercurial, but it looks like it's going to hold tonight, which, we've been crossing our fingers all week. But Friday, we will decide the Madison County Tennis Championship, and also the Madison County Track and Field Championship will be Friday night. So you can look for the tennis coverage will be in the paper, the Herald-Bulletin Saturday's edition, the track and field, which rarely ends in time for a print deadline anyway.
That's right.
There'll be some stories coming from that over the weekend. The two names really, there's a lot of them, but two that really stand out to me Friday night will be, of course, Anya Zeller. Held tonight, I was looking at the heat sheet. She is the number 1 seed in 4 events.
Wow.
So I would expect her to have a big night. And then Zarian McMillan from Anderson. He is vying to be, the odds-on favorite to be the new fastest man in Madison County. He's the number 1 seed in the 100 and the 200.
Can't wait to hear about it, Rob. Thank you so much for your time as always.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure.
Everybody go check out Rob Hunt's work in the Herald-Bulletin. He's the best. Thanks to Grant and Rob. We'll be back tomorrow. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie.